ready as I'll ever be.
I guess I'll put my...
Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architect, sitting down with some good friends of mine, Ross Defarian and Donald Sartoris.
Hello.
From the band The Heroic Charade back in the day. So, played this show last night over at Destihl. And you guys, when did you decide you were coming to town?
When Ross said he was going to be in town this week.
And you were like, just...
I'll look for a ticket.
Yeah.
I'll try to find one.
Yeah. It just works out. I came back because my company is meeting up in Chicago next week. So I came for an extra week. And I told Donnie, and we all came together.
It was crazy because it was like, you hit me up maybe last week. Does that sound right? Like the weekend?
Sounds about right.
And then I was looking at the show schedule, and I happened to have like my favorite show of the summer, Destihl.
So fun.
And so I was like, let's get you guys on there. And it was the Bloomington show, which I thought would be good, or I guess normal technically, but there's nothing normal about it.
No.
But I figured you guys would get some extra people out, and of course I always enjoy hearing you guys when it is possible. It doesn't happen very often.
Especially anymore.
That's true, yeah. And not even for us either.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah, it just all worked out very nicely, and I feel like I had a great time.
It was awesome, man.
It was fun. Good to see some old friends. The music was great. Everybody, the crowd, the people that were there were all very attentive, and they seemed to be really enjoying the music. So.
And you guys practiced two times before?
We played 4 songs.
We played 4 songs before we showed up.
Yeah.
Right. And pretty classic.
We just kind of hit the ground running, you know.
And then you guys practiced 4, and then you played what, 7, 8?
Something like we couldn't run through any of the ones we needed a capo for because his capo broke.
That's right, yeah.
So we're like, we'll see what happens when we get there.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We've been in this situation before.
Yeah,
we've been separated. I mean, we used to play here in Illinois. Then Donnie moved to California, and then we met back up in Chicago. Started playing again.
That's right. Forgot about the Chicago.
Yeah, and then you moved away again.
Donnie just can't stay around.
I get restless.
Yeah.
I had my turn one time. He's moved away from me. What now? 4 or 5 times, is it?
Yeah.
I moved away once.
So far.
Right.
So,
and you moved to Colorado, which
that's right.
It's been cool when we've done our little tours out there.
Yeah.
We usually at least try to see it. If not, we've had a couple of shows, or at least one time we've had.
Was the last one your mom's house in?
Yeah, Denver. Yeah, that was a really cool.
And then I came up and saw you
like
at
that. It's cool.
What's that?
Oh, the Laughing Goat.
Yes.
In Boulder. Yeah, and then I hung out with you guys after that. And that one, what was his name? I always forget his name. The guy, Nashville.
Justin DeBerry.
Justin DeBerry?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Laughing Goat show. I remember.
So I played the Laughing Goat, and then you lived somewhere. So we were in Boulder, and then you live in Denver. So we drove. Dave, I, and Lo drove to Denver after, and just hung out. There was a bunch of Pontiac people there.
I think you came by.
Yeah, Morgan. I think Morgan was there.
Yeah, Morgan was there. Everybody was hanging out. We played a bunch of music.
Maybe Lockwood.
Justin played a bunch of music that night. Was that when you heard him that night?
Yeah, because we couldn't. The last time we couldn't figure out a show that would work out for all of us, and so I was like, well, at least I could go listen to you guys in person, and I kind of forced you guys to put on a little show for me.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fantastic. And then you guys gave the guitar to Justin.
His songs, man.
He's
got some writing.
I don't know much of him, but he played that Nashville song, and I like
Nashville is burning.
I love that song so much.
It was so good, and it was. I don't know. It was just like I didn't expect it to.
Yeah.
I'd actually heard him on I think one of your radio shows that you guys did. And I was like, this guy's good.
Yeah, we were up in Idaho Springs. That guy was a dick.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? The host of it. Like we went up there twice, right? 2 different times. The first time it was okay. And then he asked us back, and then the second time was just like super pushy and like.
Well, he kept like people that were with us. He was like,
not a fan.
Be quiet, be quiet. And then he, at the same time, he's getting up, opening and shutting doors. It's
Right,
like, what the hell, man?
Right.
You guys have done Weft before. That super
love
nice
that
people
place,
there, but it's always funny to me because there's always one point in time where one of the hosts will because we always try to do video and stuff, and you know, for radio it's not a big deal, but if you're shooting video, he walks through to go to the bathroom in the middle of a song.
Right.
But yeah,
I seem to remember on ours too, because we had our friend Camilo record us.
Yeah, well, those are some of your best recordings.
Oh, those are amazing. Yeah, those recordings are
you
great.
guys had like a full band, kinda, and I don't know. It did seem like you guys were kind of winging it a little bit, but
as we do.
Well, not you two specifically. I think the other people who were because who was all there?
So we had Jake Starks on djembe, and Jake never really was like much of a musician or like.
Well, he sang. I remember.
Yeah.
I was actually in choir with him.
But within like our group and on hand percussion. Definitely like out of
there's an awesome
out of his element a little bit there, and he would just have fun with it.
There's an awesome part in the video of Fun and Games. On when we did our recording, there's this note that Ross hits in it. That whenever we play it, he never does it. But
it's the one that I always
it's the album recording, and it took me.
I look forward.
It took me then.
I look forward to that every time you play it. But you've done it a couple times live. I've heard it.
I got it in like 3 or 4 takes maybe.
What was funny about that video is Jake is like giving like jabbing Ross all the time. If you don't go for this note,
no, you
gotta go for it. And he's playing, and you hear Ross get it, and he just goes. In the background, just fist bumps.
Yeah. He would always look at me during that song and like call me out when I wouldn't go for the high note.
Well, it is such a cool. Like I remember in headphones the first time I heard it, and I was like, "Shit!" Like that. It gave me chills.
It's a belter for sure.
But it was just like the run of it too. I don't know. It's just like the tone, the beltiness, and the run. I don't know.
I haven't even listened to that recording in a long time.
That's the other thing. Like you guys have some decent recordings, but you can only find them on SoundCloud.
Certain spots.
Pretty much SoundCloud, right?
SoundCloud, most stuff is up there, albums on there, and then
our MySpace page on there. Pure Volume.
Yeah, we got a Pure Volume.
Yep.
But I go through brief stints where like I'll go back and listen to all those, and it just always brings me back. And I'm always like, honestly, hearing you guys do that with Jeff is what made me like hit up Jeff in the first place.
Yeah, he did such a good job.
Morning Sunrise, I heard that and I was like, this like he just kind of did it like out of his bedroom. That was just Donnie, and then you guys started doing them together, and I was like, I need to.
No, I was on Morning Sunrise with him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We did that first before we did the group of the
That was our very first one that we did.
I'm just getting it conflated.
I think that one took like 2 days or something. We did it over a weekend pretty much, and then we got that one back, and we were like, "Oh, this is."
Will you do more for us, Jeff?
Yeah, I just remember.
Can you do all of them now, please?
I just remember hearing it and being like, "Man, Jeff really has a knack." And I mean, Jeff's always been into that, even before he went to college for engineering, but studio engineering. But
that helps for sure.
He's got such an ear too. Like there's the group of songs that we started recording for the Fingerprints thing. One of them on one of the tracks. There's I didn't like what was going on, so I walked away from the mic and I sung a part. But he took that audio and just turned it up and put it in the slot with the song. It sounds so good.
Well,
he's like, I can do something with this.
He can pretty much. Awesome. He recorded our full. Well, he did our EP, and that was around the time that you got. It would have been a little bit after over at Oxide Art Vandalay, and then he did our full 14-track full album, Designed to Shine, and he's done one for me with me since then, and I don't know. It's just he's always so nice. It's as a musician, I don't really have a lot of like buddies necessarily. I really just have people I play music with. It's just because that's I work every weekend.
We're your buddies, Ty.
I know, but it's like you're still my
friends
my
anyway.
music
What
buddies.
they do.
But anyway,
we were buddies first.
You're right.
But I'm still not your buddy.
Not your friend, guy.
Over this shit.
With Jeff, it was like I knew he played in bands with Blair in high school and whatnot, and like I knew him as a really good guitar player.
Shredder.
And then after hearing that and getting together with him, it's like we became really good friends. And like anytime I have something, it's like I almost just want to record with Jeff just to have an excuse to hang out with him.
He's funny, man.
Yeah, he's got a very specific sense of humor, but if you get it, it's like hilarious.
All those Easton boys are good musicians, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They are all very talented musicians.
Yeah, I actually I wrestled with Josh, so I actually knew him a lot better than Jeff. And there was a couple times where, well, I saw him at like the talent show at the high school because he played guitar, and they were all into the heavier stuff.
Yeah.
But
what was their group? Do you even remember?
Who? Josh?
Yeah, or no, Jeff's.
Running Over Chuck with Blair.
Yeah.
Damn. Running Over
Throwback.
Chuck.
Holy crap.
But
that name just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Oh
and,
my god.
So, like, I saw Josh play, and I was like, oh, that was really cool. And that was before I was really, like, serious. I wasn't even singing really yet. And we would go on this trip every year, and me and him just got together and played guitar, like, all night. It was one of, like, the most memorable nights I've ever had, really. Awesome. In that realm of surprisingly, with wrestling, my most memorable nights is staying up with a buddy of mine.
So it was like
music.
for school wrestling. I thought you guys just did it like on the weekends for fun.
Well, we did that too.
What was your wrestling name, Ty?
Peter the Great. I don't know. But anyway, so I knew him really well, and then getting to know Jeff was awesome too. You used to play with Tony though, right?
Yeah. I played with Tony. Icarus.
Yeah.
I remember a couple shows up at the, what was that place? DeLong? Well, it's DeLong's now.
Yeah, we did some DeLong. I just remember like they had to replace me because I was always grounded. I couldn't do anything. I was always grounded, so like
That's too funny.
They had to replace me.
I think I saw one of your shows in Chillicothe, right?
Mm-hmm.
You used to play somewhere down there.
Yep.
Chillicothe. Wow, you were a road musician way back when.
Oh
They were on
always
the road.
doing it. And then I didn't play any instrument. I was just
singing.
I was just pretty.
I remember when you first got like into playing guitar. You know, you just got a guitar and you brought it over to my place in Bloomington, and you were playing like a bunch of open tuning stuff. But it was very cool to see you kind of get into that side of the music, because you'd always been a good singer, but to add that element.
Well, I mean, the one thing that like was really encouraged, still pretty.
That's the main thing, but.
But no, I mean, once I've like picked up a guitar, like I was able to do strum patterns,
right?
And, like, so I was like, oh, I could probably figure this out. And then I'm awesome.
And then, of course, Ross and I, we played in Beans in the Intergalactic War.
Yeah.
Sophomore year of high school together.
And then Architects, and we had that praise band too.
Oh yeah, well I always bring this up because
that's kind of where it all like
began. That's the
began, really?
Blair was like the band leader, and he sang a lot of the songs. You sang a lot of backup. Kevin Lyons on bass. So I mean, we were half of the. I mean, and you played bass with the Unemployed Architects. Kind of I think senior year of high school. So I mean, it's always a little wild to think that that's kind of where it all started.
I think we might have been
8th grade.
Beans and Intergalactic Warriors was our freshman and sophomore year, I think. Right? We did it twice.
Yep.
The Fun Fest.
And then Blair played with us at the second one.
Yeah.
We played "Since You've Been Gone" by Kelly Clarkson. He's like, I gotta sit in for this one.
Was that that was the Maps? Mashup, right? The Ted Leo.
Because it was Ted Leo and the Pharmacist version.
I love Ted Leo. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I think we did Reptilia
by the Strokes.
Yeah,
Reptilia?
And you were, I think that's right, but and you sang pretty much exclusively in that band. Those were a lot of
with the way.
That we always loved the Strokes, but then having Blair for that guitar part,
I was gonna say that sounds a lot like Blair style.
Yeah, that's totally his steez.
Well, I loved the Strokes in high school. I mean, I feel like I could put on any other albums and just listen cover to cover, and it was just. I mean, it wasn't like mind-bending. It's not gonna like change my personality by listening to it, but it's like just good.
It's like fun, like up tempo,
good, solid rock.
I was kind of just like stomp my foot when I'm listening to the Strokes.
Right. and it's just like every song is pretty good.
Yeah,
like it's solid cover to cover. You came from a whole different, I feel like, music background than I feel like Ross and I kind of listened to.
Yeah, I grew up listening to Beethoven and Haydn and you know.
Is that all you could think of?
Mozart, Liszt. He
was forced to only listen to Kids Bop through the age of 16. So.
What were you listening to in high school?
In high school, I was listening to Alkaline Trio. Was a big one. System of a Down.
Sparta.
You like System of a Down. I remember that.
Oh, I love System.
Sparta. I saw live open for Incubus.
I think I saw Sparta live once. I don't remember
Civic Center in Peoria.
Who they played for. I was always more of a fan of the Volta, but I started listening.
I do remember you liking Mars Volta.
Yeah, I started listening to Sparta because I found out later on when I was a fan of the Mars Volta that they actually were in a group before at the drive-in.
Oh yeah.
That split up into
two separate groups.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so then I was like, okay, I gotta check.
I forgot the lineage there. So
yeah. And at the drive-in got back together.
Oh, did they?
For a little bit.
That's cool.
But Mars Volta is now back together, and they're. I'm actually going to a show in October.
We went with Patterson. We went to Mars Volta opening up for System of a Down, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was badass. We went and Billy was there. Yeah, it was at the Rosemont Arena.
Yep.
I used to play with Billy like once in a while. I think you got me playing with Billy every once in a while. We would get together. You'd play bass. I'd do acoustic, and Billy would sing and play.
We used to play a lot in the Duck Park back in the day.
Well, and speaking of the talent show, I remember there was one where it was Jeff and Billy. They just sat on different sides of the stage and they just went back and forth with their guitars. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dueling guitars.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, it was so cool, man.
They were both so good, even back then. And then Billy played with Blair and Jeff. I think was that the year they did all the Jimmy Eat World stuff? I don't know. Well, yeah. They did Bleed America, which is kind of not like as popular of a track.
Sure isn't.
That got me thinking about the Perfect Nats now.
The Perfect Nats.
Oh my god.
I was gonna bring that up. Oh my god.
Perfect Nats.
That does bring me back.
McCardle, dude.
The McCardles, yeah.
I wonder what he's up to, Glenn.
I think he's still around the Pontiac area, but yeah, I don't know. I'm friends with him on Facebook. And
the one year we did the Fun Fest that he did sound for,
right?
Because they were playing at the end, sounded amazing.
Yeah,
and then
awesome.
Every time since then, the Fun Fest Mike Schiff did our senior year was actually really good too. But the first time I ever sang, I thought it would be like a similar setup in the auditorium, and it was literally like the auditorium speakers and no monitors, and I was the first time singing into a microphone with a full band. Yeah, it was brutal, man.
I wonder if you could still get their album anywhere, Perfect Nats.
I like
that album, the one that...
Probably as easily as you can get you guys' music.
Yeah, probably. Well, they were on CD Baby, at least.
So they're even further ahead than you guys.
Basically.
Kills me. You should be able to type into Google the Heroic Charade and find you guys. But,
it's true.
if you were on Spotify, it would be nice to say, hey, Spotify, play the Heroic Charade, and it comes on.
I wouldn't even be able, I don't even know if I can get, like, the lossless files from that original album anyway.
It doesn't
just
have to.
Just put a microphone up to speaker?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good quality.
You won't lose anything over
I could probably find a CD, though, and rip it.
Well, and I mean, something would be better than nothing.
Right, totally.
I mean, even if it's not like the most amazing quality version of it, I don't know.
Can we actually rip the audio from this and put it on our Spotify?
No.
No? Okay.
You can't. Ross can, but you probably wouldn't. Ross would actually know how to do it. Probably.
I think a big leap in that direction would be trying to complete some of these songs that we've started with the new project.
The Fingerprints?
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So, Don, let's get into it. What's good? Just start from the beginning.
Start from the beginning. So, I mean... I came up with the idea like when everyone was kind of locked down and stuff.
Pandemic. I definitely remember it being pandemic.
Yeah, I wanted to do something and like not just that, like keep connected and reconnect with a bunch of different musicians.
And I think it was definitely good for that. I mean, I think we were probably talking anyway, but you know, it gave me and some other people that all know you kind of indirectly more stuff to even talk about.
Right. Well, and the idea was that the Fingerprints. like everyone that I've like had something to do musically with over the years would have like even if it's just a line or an idea or like different producers doing different things. Like everyone has their fingerprints on this album somewhere. So it's got a whole collection of different people, and it was really cool for a minute. It's kind of come to a lull, but like
lost a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean it's just one of those things. I ended up having to move because when the pandemic was just too much for me financially, so I couldn't stay out there anymore.
And even before that, you were pretty far outside of Denver too.
Yes, I was.
So it was hard for us to get together on.
Like almost an hour away from Denver, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, what was it? Bentley?
Benson? I don't know. I could not tell you.
You don't even remember?
I have no idea, man.
It's that forgettable.
There was a King Super. No, yeah, there was a King Supers and a McDonald's, and that was
all you needed.
Yeah, all I needed.
All there was.
But I always thought too for the that album, it'd be cool if you got everybody that was they
fingerprint for the artwork.
And just use that for the artwork.
That'd be sick.
Well, my brother had an idea to where like God, what was it?
Or like an illustration for each.
It was like when they
fingerprints that are on that one or on each one.
Right. Well, his idea was like have everyone do like their fingerprint or thumbprint or something. And then you know how like when they do like analysis and they have like the thing going like this is what this means and that's that, have that kind of be like a mini bio of each person on there.
No, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's creative. I like that.
But he's a creative guy.
Yeah, he is.
So how's that coming along? I mean, have you made much headway or?
I mean, there's a lot of good tracks on like ready to go and like solidify. It's just I've kind of just done the Donnie thing, and
there still needs to be more production work done.
Yeah, and I mean, I did some parts for one song, but I felt like I was just giving you ideas.
Well, there was the guitar you laid down for Illinois Boy was really cool.
Yeah, I did a bunch of I did an open tuning version of it, and then I added a bunch of harmonics and stuff into just to give it a different kind of sound. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it. I mean, it was just an excuse to like sit down. It's nice sometimes to not only work on your own. And we're back. All right, so we had a little technical difficulty there, which will make it really fun to edit later.
Yep.
But anyway, so yeah, I was saying the stuff like working on somebody else's stuff is kind of
refreshing.
Yeah, and you get a certain amount of more freedom. Yeah, like you're not as
not for me. Like I'm really egocentric and selfish. I just like, wanted it to be about me.
Well, that's classic.
There's less variables. Like you have one role. It's kind of like it's very clear cut. What you
just try to do that the best you can.
Exactly.
And it's a little different. When I record, a lot of the times it's like I get everybody to come in a track, and then it's just me in the studio, like this part, trying to get everything to sound just right. And, it's just a little liberating but you said you had an update on the...
Oh, yeah. I mean, Donnie and I had talked about this. So I just recently purchased another sound interface. So I'm going to be sending my old one to him.
Oh, nice.
So we'll have the ability to start laying down some more tracks on the fingerprint stuff.
Nice.
And also, I mean, some of it was pretty near completed anyway.
Yeah,
a couple of the songs were very nearly done. I think it just needed some mixing. Which I can sit down on as well.
Right.
But we did discuss trying to push it forward and like try and finish it because those are all.
It depends on
how many songs are.
Oh, I think we had 6 or 7 slated, but I think we could do even more.
Maybe.
I think I said this at the beginning of the project. We should get those 6 or 7 done and just be done with them, and then when they're done and ready to be released, then maybe start.
At the very least, I need to get the things that I'm going to put on there myself tracked out, and then whatever can be filled.
I think there'll be like a weighted ranking here too, because like some of them are more completed than others. So like let's definitely focus on those.
Yeah, I was saying we should do it one song at a time. After I did
at this point we'd have to look and see whatever's closest to being done is what I want to work on first.
And just get that
right. Well, and it's also because you don't want to. I mean, everyone's got their own schedules, lives, and this and that going on. Yeah. So like, I mean, I always approached it with the idea like there's no like timeline here.
Totally, yeah.
Could be until like I'm 40. Like I don't care. Like that's because it's
Yeah, but we still have to like drive it forward.
Sure. But like I'm more so like the idea of it than like you know putting it out like as a product. I think it's just like a cool thing.
I think for me,
I could care less if it gets.
It circles back to like kind of what Ty was talking about though, like you know having some of this newer music recorded.
You were listening to Ty earlier?
I was listening to Ty earlier.
I forced him. I made him wear headphones. Like you have to listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. You can't zone you out. But no, I lost it.
Way to go, Don.
Oh man.
My gear first, and then Donnie's mouth.
No, but getting these recordings of our newer music that people haven't heard, and there is nothing whatsoever. Like you've said, it's already hard to find some of our older stuff, and it's in different places. You have to know where to look. But this newer stuff, you can't find it at all.
Right.
You can't at all. So
there might be like a bootleg copy, like Kazaa
I love that. That one's like for me. That's what inspires me and like drives me to get this done is because I want people to hear it, and then then I could also set up the Spotify with the older stuff to it, which would be
I think this
a perfect time to do it.
Yeah,
I think this trip has been a little bit motivating for that because like we talked earlier in the podcast, like. We're amazing and all that stuff, but like it was just one of those things. Like we have been apart for so long, and then we come back and like barely even.
It's magic.
Yeah, it
seems like magic to somebody like me who has to work very hard to sound like you know.
I mean, it's been forever
just average or slightly above, and then you guys come in there and you just murder it with barely any, and like the amount of stuff. I'm always like, you had one guitar and two vocals, all just single line plugged in. Like you guys just don't even need much to sound amazing. Which
we really worked on our dynamics on the newer material, especially.
Yeah,
you guys played a lot more new songs than I expected. I was happy. Was it me, you versus the whole world?
Yeah, the whole world versus you and me.
I can never get that name right.
That's one of my favorite ones.
I've never said that name right. I think.
Few people do.
Yeah.
But
world versus you and me.
That was one of my favorite songs. That and Serenades. I always loved both those songs quite a bit. So I was happy to get that one out of you.
I kind of he didn't necessarily get it out of me. I mentioned it mistakenly to Donnie, and then he started playing.
Ross was like, "What do you want to play next?" I'm like, "Oh, you want to know what I'm going to play next?" And I just looked at him while I started playing it.
I was like, "Okay, here we go."
I guess this is happening now. But also, I want to like point out or like mention like. But not just with us, but with like a lot of musicians. To like your credit, like you've laid the groundwork for like a lot of your friends to also be able to like play music. Like I probably wouldn't play hardly anything if it weren't for like you like being so encouraging. And you do that with a lot of people. You get a lot of people out there. You're very encouraging.
He wants more music buddies.
That's it. I just don't have any friends. So I'm like, you want this guitar? Just try it.
Oh yeah, you're really good. Please stay longer.
You're not too far off from reality, but I don't know. You guys' harmonies are just always so amazing.
But you create a platform for a lot of like your musician buddies to play. Like you really.
It's crazy too. Just like how many Pontiac people like are.
I mean, if you didn't have shows, like we wouldn't have shows sometimes. You know?
If you weren't already booking things, we'd be like, I guess there's no option for us now.
We'll never play again.
Yeah. Well, you guys got on a little bit. I know that maybe I sparked it, but you guys got on a little bit of a rhythm after.
Well, like I said, we learned it from like the way that.
That's
like,
the part I always hated. That was like booking stuff.
I can assure you that nobody's a huge fan of it. I mean, I know that. Yeah. I don't like it either. I mean, I've gotten decent at it, but just like with anything else, what was this? The Carnegie. What was the saying?
Oh yeah, it's the same. It's the same way you do it. The same way you get to Carnegie Hall.
Yep.
Practice.
Yep.
Old saying. Oh yeah.
And
I mean, no, that's I came up with that.
But yeah, so I mean, just with like booking and promoting and stuff like that, which I kind of not great at the promoting part, but I try. You know, and I try to make it so you can find my music literally anywhere, any platform, I try to make it as easy as possible, but all that stuff is just from doing it, since I was in high school. Since our MySpace page, I think, which was,
it's a lot of work, man. I mean, it's a lot to get established and get out there, but I mean,
and then the production part's another level as well. Like I was talking to you about that a little bit last night, Don. Is like, over the years, like. coming up. I mean, for you guys, you pretty much just need like one main, one monitor, a mixer, and then just some cables and a guitar. So I mean, it wouldn't take a lot, but like the way
I do always have an earpiece in with someone on a microphone saying, "You're awesome, you're wonderful, we love you."
That's Ross's pre-recorded voice.
One case of chilled Perrier. Backstage, please.
But
this green room's not green. Never.
I'm out of here.
Paint it right now.
But yeah, I mean, you guys definitely got on when you moved to Champaign. I think because I think you were doing a lot of shows with me in Bloomington when you guys were more. Were you guys in? You lived with me for a little bit, but
yes.
Was that when we were doing the shows in Bloomington? Probably.
Some, yeah.
And then where were you in that? Because you came, I think
I would come occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
like to the Blue Line or...
Yeah, Blue Line. We played Blue Line on the Wednesdays, right?
Yeah, but where were you? Did you live in Bloomington or did you...
No, I was living in Champaign.
Champaign. So you would just drive the 45.
I was at school then. Yeah.
And then Don moved to Champaign, and then it seemed like you actually got me a show. I remember that was like a benchmarker for me. I played at the Canopy Club with you guys.
Yeah.
And that was a fun show.
Yeah, that was a fun night, for sure.
Was that the night that, like, we were both super sick and, like, so we were in the song and, like, Ross was like, I gotta go to the band.
Oh,
Like, and he leaves and then he comes back. I'm like, okay, I gotta go now too. And they kept the song going.
Right.
It was
Yeah, there was one part where, like, I definitely, like, threw up and I had to, I had to walk away.
We were both
Did Big D play that show with me?
I don't know.
He played one. I played maybe one or two with me at the Canopy Club.
One of the ones that we all did together was at what was that place called?
IBC. I remember.
Yes,
he played drums for you.
For
guys.
us, yeah.
IBC, and that was the one where the stage was like, way off the ground.
He joined us on drums for a couple of shows.
I remember.
There's a cool picture of us from that show, and like one of Big D's like little dreads.
You can see that
popping into the frame, like, but it's us in the background and focus.
That's how I like it. Anyone else involved just a little bit, me front and center. But no, it is a really cool shot. I know exactly the picture you're talking about.
Big D's.
That was a cool spot.
Yes.
Well, of course I miss him. I mean, I played so many shows with him. I lived with him for forever. But he was always just a good energy to have around.
Yeah, and what's funny?
Nothing but good things to say about him.
As like aloof and like. Don't know like what you're gonna get from him. Like that he can be almost every time that I call him. Like nowadays, which isn't like all the time, but every time he like answers the phone, like talks to me for like an hour, he's like, "All right, man," like
and he I always say like I talked to him for like an hour, but I learned nothing about him. he just like
he lets you talk.
Yeah, he lets you talk. He asks you questions. Anytime you ask him a question, I even if I like try to beat it out of him, like, what are you up to? Like, just tell me.
Just get a casket, a green yellow basket,
Yeah, he'll say some very vague things and then just throw a question at you. And he probably knows what to say to get me talking. He'll just say one thing and just set me up, and I'll just go off. And I don't know, just one of the most personable people.
I love the story of how I met D.
All right, let's hear it.
Funny. So we were both in the same honors English class in high school with Mr. Ramsire, and he was new to the school. Walked into the class one day, and I think it was like one of the very first days, like if not the first day. But he's like, "Man, you know where to get any Kool-Aid around here?" He was at the county market or whatever, and like apparently couldn't find it, and I was like, "Bro, I got you." My mom had like a grip of Kool-Aid in the cupboard at home, so the next day I bring him a bunch of packets of Kool-Aid, and then we're just friends.
Yeah, all it takes.
We're already friends, man. And then I ended up finding out that he played drums and whatnot, and so and I was like, "Well, you gotta come play with us." And then the rest.
That was wild, because I mean.
But I love that was like one of our very first.
I got a good first interaction with D.
I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm gonna bring you Kool-Aid."
So like, I'm a pretty forgetful person. I don't think that's new knowledge to anybody.
Yeah.
And like in PE, like either freshman or sophomore year, I had racked up like
not bringing your PE clothes.
Yep, that was it. So like I remember like Big D was just like, you want to wear my sweats, man? And I don't know, I'm a pretty lanky guy, small.
Especially in high school, you were skinny. It's not I mean, you're tall, but you were boned.
So he's like, I got an extra white T-shirt and like these blue sweatpants, and like I had to tie the drawstring super tight. They're like dragging on the ground underneath me. I'm like, you think I can do this? He's like, yeah, you're good. That was good.
Such a fun guy.
And that was like right after he moved there too. Like so, like it was like, oh sweet man, thanks.
And I met him in football, and I mean we talked every once in a while, but as soon as I learned he played drums, you know, how I make my music friends, like we were talking, I was like, you gotta come play drums. I mean, we had played with a guy, Cole Gertis, who had graduated. First, wait, it was Cole, and then it was Jordan Orville, right?
Yeah, Norm. We had Norm. Norm. Oh, so I think Cole was.
Did you see his scene in? Oh, sorry.
Was Cole Beans in the Intergalactic Warriors?
Yeah, but he played. I think he played once.
Did he play with the Architects a little bit?
Yeah, I think he played maybe a couple shows as the Architects.
Yeah.
He had he guest starred on an episode of Blackish recently. It was hilarious, dude.
Oh, shit, the iPad.
You better make sure that's okay. Now we know where our technical difficulties
turn off
are
this
coming
time.
What the hell is going on here? I'm
I think
all wrapped around.
Yeah, the cords are all tight.
This is great. This is the most professional I've ever been.
At least it's still recording.
Yeah.
Hey, Ty, I wanted to ask you, is there any way we can bring more stuff into this room?
Yeah. I cleaned it out, by the way. This is as clean as it gets with this little amount of stuff. I mean, this is where I teach. This is where I practice. This is where I record. This is where I play drums. I mean, this is my utility room, you know. So I have to. It has to be packed pretty full.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff to look at too. I mean,
but speaking of Cole Gertis, and going back to like me moving different places all the time. I remember one of those when I moved to California one night. I was hanging out with the Hornbecks, and Cole showed up, and we got to kind of have like a nice night out there.
Nice.
All these Illinois people hanging out.
In Cali?
Yep.
I saw him in Modern Family too.
Oh yeah,
was he really?
Yeah,
I need to go back and watch that one. His scene in Blackish was hilarious, dude.
Is he still acting and stuff?
I think so. I mean, as far as I know.
I mean, why would
I
you
hope
stop
so.
if you can? You know?
And like he just like
and that was like a big deal. He is the person.
I feel like I'd be a terrible actor.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, like there's like I mean you see some people come in on these scenes and like they're just like they don't have the and it's something so simple as just like a moment, but like the way like he seems to have like really good timing with his like delivery of line. It was funny.
He's got a friendly face.
He's got a friendly face.
So
I like his face.
When I first started playing with him, I got to give him credit, and I haven't thought about it since the second, but I had been playing guitar for a little while, and I was just like talking to him. He was going to school for production, and I was like, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. What should I do? And he was like, you should need to get into some music theory classes. You know, it's something that, you know, most people don't even know we have. And so I took 2 years of theory in high school, and that really like set the ground for like how I play music in general. I mean, it made me understand it to such a greater degree, and like you know, it helped me progress with singing a lot too, because we did the like sight read, which I all this stuff is so foreign to me. I mean, I joined stuff. I joined chorus.
If you're pretty, you don't need to worry about that.
Well, we know that that's not my situation. We know that that's not my situation. So
I wasn't gonna say it, but I wanted to.
You got an ugly mug.
But so he was the one who like mentioned like even that into the realm of ideas, you know, that I could take a theory class. And
so they had theory at Pontiac?
Yeah.
What, Schmink?
Well, Schickel was the year one, and we had like 7 people in the class, and everybody else was band chorus people, so they were familiar. I didn't even read music.
I really wish I would have taken it back then too.
Me too.
I was cramming so much other like.
Right, but you guys.
I wasn't cramming anything. I think I had 2 study halls. So.
Yeah.
but like I didn't even take chorus till I was in my senior year, and you guys all did
concert choir.
Loved choir, man, and
throughout all of it. And you guys were in the madrigals, and I think that set the seeds for the amazing.
All state honors, baby.
That's kind of I mean that's
set you guys in motion for being able to do those just amazing harmonies. Yeah.
10-1, 10-2.
Well, I did the barbershop with.
Oh yeah, you guys won the talent show that year.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
it was all because of those pink vests we wore.
Yeah, the vests really.
We're talking about people that like have like John Ramsire.
Yeah, John.
Man, that kid's killing it.
I mean, both of them, Josh and John.
Yeah.
They're
I had the pleasure of being roomies with both of them at one point or another, and like every now and then I still like hit up John and just be like, yo,
I think everybody in that family can sing.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone in that family can do like everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, very talented.
But no, I always like make it a point to reach out to John every now and then and be like, "Dude, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm showing
Isn't
people."
he like in plays and stuff and like?
I don't know exactly like all the things that he does. I know my favorite recording of him is him playing with one of the orchestras in New York, Comfort Ye by Handel or Haydn. It's one of those two, but it's just such a beautiful and he just kills it.
Right.
And it's like the same like way that Jake reacted to like your note and that when I like hear him make some of these wrong, I'm like, that's my guy, that's my guy.
I've heard some of these recordings too, and it's pretty amazing.
They were always in the plays in high school, and I always just was like, how do you even? Because there were musicals a lot. I was like, how do you even sing like that? It's just like crazy.
Incredible. A
lot of some of it is the genetics probably, but their work ethic. I mean, they're just
they have like in both. I don't know if you like how well you know both of the Ramsire parents, but like the most nurturing and wonderful people and
I mean, Mr. Ramsire, he was a good singer too, right?
Yes,
I mean, he could do pretty much anything. And
for Million Players growing up, they were in all of them too. We were in those.
Well, Mr. Ramsire did all the musicals for the high school theater too, and it was all about that. And
my niece was just in her first musical.
Which one was it?
It was they did a Frozen thing.
Oh, cool!
And she got to play young Anna. And it was actually like a big part. Yeah. And she actually sang a lot of songs, and she did like pretty good.
Killed
like
it,
because everybody was pretty. Yeah, definitely. But everybody was like. Very impressed by her because she's a young. Usually, people her age don't get like main parts, and she got one and she kind of killed it. It was pretty impressive.
Nice.
I remember John was so good that the first musical I was in was The King and I was like a freshman.
I remember that one.
And one of the like main parts is the son of what's the lead lady's name. And I don't know, Anna maybe.
Anna, I think.
But we didn't have like.
Pretty sure.
They brought him up from 8th grade to like do the production with us to like have someone to play it, and like no one was upset about it. We're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
we hear his voice now. That makes perfect sense.
I remember Oklahoma pretty well because I'm not into that kind of stuff, the musicals very much, but like I completely foreign to me, and then going there and watching all you guys sing, it was just like, wow, like I didn't even realize you could do, like, I don't know, it was pretty mind-boggling to see, especially John and Josh and those, because they were just like
Madrigals was my favorite.
Madrigals, man.
Oh, you're saying when you guys were in Madrigals.
Used to get the goosies.
Oh man,
the goosies.
Oh, Magnum Mysterium, dude. Man. Such a good tune. Morton Lordson. Oh, Magnum Mysterium.
You know it's good when you get goosebumps.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying when you hit that note in Fun and Games. I got goosebumps. I think the first time I heard it.
That's what you strive for.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I'm here. You know, I mean, honestly, it's like when I first saw like live music. It was like a transcendental experience, I think. I had those goosebumps almost the whole time because I was at Bonnaroo, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And,
heck yeah.
And, I knew I wanted to do it, but after that...
What year?
I think I was a sophomore.
So you would have been...
I would have been 16, because that's when you get your license. So
you would have been like, that would have been like 05?
Somewhere around there, yeah, that sounds right.
Well, yeah, it would have been a lot better than it is now. That's for sure.
But I mean...
Old Bonnaroo would be cool.
And some of my favorite bands I saw there, I saw Dave Matthews headlined a band, the Dave Matthews Band, and he had
Dave's Fun Life.
Robert Randolph as a guest that he was also playing there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but oh man, he plays the slide guitar.
Yeah.
And then Jack Johnson was there. I saw Modest Mouse. There were a bunch of bands there that I really wish I would have seen, but the way that we didn't end up in camp, we stayed.
I'd go for just that you mentioned.
Yeah, but there was a bunch of other people that Kings of Leon played, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. I really wish I would have seen them so bad. Yeah, because that was like before they popped. Right. So it would have been not even one of the main stages.
Yeah, I had one opportunity to go and I didn't.
It was pretty nuts. But what I was getting to is like, I was there watching the shows, and I just had those goosebumps the whole time. I'm like, how can I make this like my life? Pretty much. Like after that,
I would like to do.
I remember not having a guitar that whole weekend, and just like it killed me because all I wanted to do after I went out and saw these shows was
play.
And when I got home,
I used to get that feeling at festivals too.
I got home, I played for hours.
Yeah.
Like it was like
Feeling
I couldn't
so
believe
inspired,
it.
Yeah.
What was the first concert you guys ever went to?
Nelly.
Mine's
I saw Nelly in the 6th grade. I went with my sister and my mom.
Okay.
All right, ready for this?
But the second one was All American Rejects.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Mine, Avril Lavigne,
Yes.
co-headlining Simple Plan.
Yes.
Not something I even liked, but it was a concert, and we were in the nosebleeds. I think we got free tickets.
Was he a skater boy?
Oh, definitely.
Said, "See
I
you
mean,
later,
I think
boy."
she skateboarded onto the stage. No, it didn't happen. But it was
awesome.
not a great show. But it was a show. It was something I'd never been to.
We played a Simple Plan song back in the day, right?
No.
Or was that that was with, I think that might have been with X Sub 4.
Those aren't really my
junior
cup
high
of tea.
band.
I go back and I listen to those just to laugh sometimes. Because it's like the lyrics are just so
I have some Sum 41 songs.
I don't want to hate on them too hard, but I mean,
I usually skip most of those songs when they come on random.
the thing
every now and again I'll give them a listen.
The thing that, because I remember X Sub 4, you guys played the Simple Things or Little Things by Good Charlotte.
Good Charlotte, and I think we played an All American Rejects.
Yeah, I like the All American. I even liked the All American
what was
Rejects
that
in high
song?
school.
What's the
you did Swing.
How does Little Things go?
The little things.
Okay, so
things, they always
I was
let
never.
me down.
I'm never familiar with that song, but like through the years, that's something that's always been an earworm in this guy's ear, because I've heard him like sing this song like just randomly, like while he's doing stuff, almost to this day. Especially like when we first started playing, it was always in his head, and I had no idea what the song was.
Well, don't take any ownership to
That's
that.
definitely not true.
Also,
you make me look bad, Donnie.
I didn't ask you guys that question so you could answer it. I did it for the sole purpose of you pitching back to me.
Okay, hey Donnie, what was the first concert you had ever?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you.
What I was gonna say though, with the Simple Plan, we'll get to you in a second, Donnie.
No.
Not your turn. Not your turn.
The Simple Plan. I go back and I watch those, and it looks like they're like 30 years old. 30, like the music videos.
Yeah.
30, 35, and they're playing these songs about being in high school. Like it's such a weird thing to think about because it's very like high school driven.
Yeah, I mean, if I was them, I wouldn't still be playing that.
I mean, then you definitely don't want to hear my new song, Out of the Womb I Come.
Well, that one sounds more interesting. I mean,
It does. It does.
all right, let's get to it.
I'm serious. I don't want to tell you guys anymore.
Okay, for sure.
No, it was okay. It was Alien Ant Farm 311.
Alien Ant Farm.
Another weird like collection of
Interesting.
people. Yeah. I think I went with
Did
Josh.
they play their Annie cover?
Yeah,
That was like
it was
the
like
only
right
thing I
after
knew them
that.
from. Yeah, was that?
Are you okay? Are you okay?
And I think it also, and like, which is weird because to counter it, 311's Amber is the color. Of
All right,
light.
exact opposite.
It was so weird, but like I went with Phil Hansen, not the wrestler one, but the one that was in like choir and stuff, and Josh Walls and my brother.
Nice.
Nice.
Weird.
It's a good time.
Thank you guys. I really wanted to talk about it.
Yeah,
now
no problem,
you're glad to
no
get that off your chest.
I mean, it's just rude. Like, it's common courtesy.
Did it
like,
change your life?
Yeah.
was a
I'd say it did.
In what way? Let's get down to the bones.
I didn't realize that's what concerts were,
Right.
and then then later I realized, oh, that's not what concerts were. Because it was at like a weird theater in Peoria that like had like it was like a theater, like all the seats, and it was like meant for people like sit and watch like something.
But then you're listening to Alien Ant Farm rock, and it's like,
You didn't know what like a GA was.
Yeah.
You were in a seated.
Well, isn't that Georgia?
What?
GA?
Yeah, GA,
Yeah.
Georgia.
I know my state.
all right, favorite concert you've ever been to? Because I already kind of talked about mine. That Bonnaroo was pretty
shoot,
life changing for me.
Been to
But
so many.
Donnie, let's get you first.
That Mars Volta System of a Down one was awesome.
That was pretty incredible. I talk about that one still.
But and like this is like double edged. So this also gave me like the worst like taste in my mouth for like going to like concerts and festivals though. But prior to getting arrested, summer camp was one of the best times I've ever had.
I remember that. That was
Summer camp.
Anyway, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Donnie never returned.
But that was a good time.
It was amazing, like, cause like it was.
I could have been with him too.
You lucked out.
Because I left to play a show, but no.
I made him go play the show. I stayed.
That was one of the times. Like Ross had been telling me about Lotus for a while, and then I got to like go see them when I was feeling great about music at the time. That was awesome. We got to see Primus play.
Primus was
which
awesome.
was a lot of fun.
With Bob Weir came out. Or Bob Weir came out with Primus. Yeah, from the Dead.
That's awesome.
Him and Les Claypool. They played a. Oh man, it's epic. It's like an 18-minute. The other one. Crazy,
it was just
crazy
a really cool
jam.
experience.
It was insane. And then Gogo Bardello was there too. He came out with Les Claypool too.
Yes.
It was insane.
That was my first time seeing them live too.
That was a wild show.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. So I mean, and the other thing gave me street credit. So
Right.
Yeah.
You were hard after
So
that.
summer camp in general that year was the bomb.com for you.
Yeah.
Except for that ending part. How about you?
I'm not done talking yet. Hang on.
All right.
Jeez.
What was your
Oh, man, so hard.
life-changing experience concert-wise? Best one you've been to?
I don't know if I could pick. I don't know if I could pick just one. To be honest, I've had a couple that were like really like just so upper echelon that it was.
Well, pick one. I mean, it doesn't. You don't have to say it's your favorite. You can just say one that you remember.
I'll give you two.
All right.
Just because, I don't know. Well, I mean, one of them is. I'll just give you one. Okay.
No, I want three.
Never mind.
I got four for you, Ty.
Next question.
If you'll have me. Okay, I would say the first year I went to Electric Forest and I saw String Cheese.
Oh, I've only heard good things about String Cheese.
That was just mind blowing, and the show was so fantastic. I had such a great time and never
Where'd
heard
you
their
see
music. At Electric Forest.
But I'm saying, like, where is it? Like,
It's in Rothbury, Michigan. It's in the Sherwood Forest. Beautiful,
cool.
Beautiful venue. And it's even crazier now. They have tons of art. And so
I love Michigan in the summer. It's
I haven't been since the second year, but it's huge now.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it, and I'm not really dialed into that scene very good. But that brings me to, it's kind of led you down a different musical path to an extent, right? Like
you started getting more into like jam music and like just kind of like more like funk electro.
Yeah,
stuff
and you've
as well, like
been
Lotus,
doing
like Sound Tribe.
Some recording on that front.
Yeah, definitely. But I do want to say though, I walked away from that first set that I saw them, or like they played two sets, whatever. And I walked away from that show just smiling ear to ear, just like I had such a good time. It was great music. And then some girl passed me by and she was like, "Hey, who's your favorite band?" And I'm like, I don't know. Just like String Cheese, and I'm like, oh my god, they might
Now
actually
it is.
be. Yeah, that was incredible. Like that moment. Was,
I might have to alter my answer a little bit because like I went to Cheese with the whole group in Colorado to Red Rocks and like
Red Rocks.
If Red Rocks itself wasn't like good enough, but like that reggae band New Kingston opened up for them and they were really good and it was.
We saw local natives at Red Rocks.
Oh,
they played with Portugal the Man.
Oh, sick.
Which
Portugal, too.
I like Portugal, but I was there for the natives. I've been obsessed with those guys for a long time.
Portugal's fun though.
I think there is an album called Wide Eyes or something.
Yeah, Wide Eyes.
That is a great song and album. But
the first one was
really like
Gorilla
that
Manor,
band.
I think.
That is it. Yeah, and
Gorilla
that's
Manor, that's what Wide Eyes is on.
Yeah.
Is that the one with Who Knows Who Cares on there as well?
You guys used to cover that song.
Impeccable,
we used to do
impeccable record.
Airplanes.
That record is just fantastic.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
That was fun to do.
That's
I have to like give that a run here.
I listened to that song and it does kind of usually bring me back to that, but also like it's a pretty sad song. It sounds like it's about his mom dying or something.
I mean, a lot of songs that are awesome are sad. Like
that is true.
You gotta try to like make it sound positive.
Well, I don't know that it does. It always hits me in the heartstrings a little bit.
Sure.
The Prodigal Son.
That'll do. Like the key will do that.
Which I purposely wrote to sound happy. If you listen to the lyrics, it is very depressing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's my general MO for a lot of my music is sounds happy, listen to the lyrics, then get maybe a little.
You're like, a
little sad.
Oh.
Did anyone check on him tonight?
Well, I have this song called Winter White, and there's a couple lines in it that are pretty brutal. deal. And after I released the video of that, there were people that like checked in. I was like, it's a song. I just, you know, ultimately it's kind of about a breakup and something that...
The song in itself that was the purpose to serve.
Yeah. It was, but there is a couple lines in it. Yeah. So the premise of the song, you know, I was watching a lot of Survivor Man at this time. So I was driving in the snow once. I was like, this is kind of a cool, you know, because I remember the winter blindness or the snow blindness that you get. And so I started
I'm a Bear Grylls guy, personally.
Ooh, come on! They set him up. they do BS stuff for him.
No,
Survivor Man's the real deal.
I just like his voice.
But the premise in the song is the guy's just walking through this essentially desolate desert with like snowing. You can't see anything, and you know that's a metaphor for the relationship, obviously. But then there's a line in it that says he has one bullet in his gun, not for hunting. And that's a pretty...
Captain Jack Sparrow, I gotcha.
But I mean, I think that line was the one that probably got
What's
people
it
to be
for?
Like, hey, are you okay?
What's it for then?
Well, I mean, like, and I get that too, but like, it's not like when you think about like that avenue to go down. It's not like you're like always like, oh, I'm suicidal, but it's something that, like, I mean, a lot of...
Well, it's all a metaphor, though. Yeah, I mean, he's lost in the wilderness. He doesn't know what to do. And in the song, it's a story that I wrote, you know, it's an allegory.
You gotta have some shock and awe.
Yeah,
you know?
Right. Well, you know, it's a metaphor for how I was feeling, but there's a second movement where essentially he dies. I didn't die in real life. And then becomes a whole, like, he wakes up...
Yeah. I have a song
he wakes
like
up to a whole different life, and that's kind of the...
That's crazy. I have a song kind of like that, too.
All right. Well, mine is probably worse.
No, I doubt it. That's pretty bad.
But yeah, I mean, lyrics are, you know,
it's fun.
They're a way to get those feelings out without necessarily having to really be thinking things like that. But I mean, it's not even like that. I was really thinking it. It just made sense in the song. It's a story. That's the path that the muse took me down, I guess. Totally. But you know, it's not like I'm really like, you know, trying to be all emo. You know.
Yeah.
But it is funny that a lot of my songs do kind of tilt that way a touch, and
also like finding like metaphors or examples or things to make hyperbole of for a lyric to convey. It's fun to do. Like,
exactly.
It's a puzzle, and the thing is, there's like no right or wrong answer too.
And use like interesting words and word combinations that.
Well, there's a certain amount...
You normally don't hear, you know?
Yeah, there's a certain amount of, like, the aesthetic of how you put the words together, which is, like, you know, for me, I like to make them pretty. Like, I like the prettiness of the words. And then also, you know, you're trying to say something, so is it the meaning that you're going for, or are you telling a story? You know, there's different types of songs, but it's a fun, distracting way to express yourself, I feel like.
Totally.
One of my favorite things to do, unfortunately, is a stupid thing to strive for when you're writing a song. But like I'll
do the branch thing.
Oh, I'll do like little like inside jokes with the spelling of words.
Oh yeah.
Like the song Illinois Boy, the boy is spelled B-O-I-S, but no one would ever like because you didn't.
Well, because it's called that, people will see it. So I mean,
but like it's not like when you're performing a song, you have a sign that has the Illinois song name above it. But I do that a lot with a bunch of different.
Find it on Pure Value.
Go back to the MySpace. But yeah, I mean, writing song, and you've both written a lot of songs. Like it seems like
I'm better at starting and not quite finishing.
Well, songs. I think that's one of the reasons you guys work well together. Honestly, I mean, Donnie, you seem like you can write pretty consistently.
Well, like that Serenade song, that's really Ross heavy. He wrote most of that, and then I kind of
chimed in a little.
Tied the knot on it, and then. Whole World Versus You and Me is one of my favorite songs. This boy is an amazing songwriter, and I added one little part during the ha-has, that little like singing part, and it's just he doesn't need much to like add to it. Winter to Spring is a really good song.
Yeah, I put
we wrote that one together.
Yeah,
we did write that one together.
I supported your writing of it. And I wish I had more to do with it. That was really heavy. Long Way is another really good one.
Yeah, I recognize lately that I'm just like I really think a lot like musically when I'm writing, at least I always think in choruses. Like
that's the thing that draws people in.
I think in choruses, and I'm trying to snap out more and get more into like the verse.
Right.
But I immediately just go to the chorus for some reason. which is great. Like you have a chorus
if
already.
you have a solid chorus, I mean that's your song.
I can come up with choruses left and right.
Your verses are so like just the opening line of somebody World versus You and Me that Ross wrote is like one of my favorite.
Let's go over it. What is it?
Well, you got a slice and it's quite nice, so you know these simple portions will not do. It's just like that sets that verse so good.
Very nice. Very nice.
What is it then? With a pretty face and a warm embrace, your ugly dispositions come to.
Which is the one that says my hearty heart? Is that?
That's Serenades.
That's what.
Is it Haughty or Hardy?
That's Haughty.
Haughty Heart. Yeah.
I thought it was Hardy Heart.
I sing it Hardy because I'm an idiot.
We could change it to that if you want.
I don't know. Either way, it's the having the alliteration there, and then
I love alliteration.
It's I don't know, that part always just gets.
What was really fun about that one is like, so we had it and like we didn't know who was gonna sing it. We had the idea like, what if we just switched
and
every line?
That makes it so cool too. Like having the dueling vocals is a very fun way to approach a song. I feel like because you guys are great separate, and then you come together and it's even more amazing. So like having the back and forth is like, this is Donnie, he's really good. Listen, this is Ross, he's really good. Listen, and then like the meshing at the end is like, ooh, that's awesome.
It definitely helps that like on at least for me. We're each other's biggest advocate. Like, you know, I remember like when we first started playing, and like it was weird because like I knew you had like background like singing with like TyJon and all them. It was almost like pulling teeth to get you to sing more harmonies.
But you guys do it. It seems like it's so natural.
I love his voice so much. His voice is so good.
Well, I wasn't really playing music for a couple of years then too, and then I wasn't necessarily like.
It was. I'm glad it got to where it did.
But I'm glad you did get me into it.
And I was talking.
I'm still into it to this day. So.
I was talking to you about this last night. But doing shows with you guys was always great because you guys, in a way, like step up my game a little bit. It's always fun to like feed off of because if you guys go first, which a lot of the times that was the case, and you guys murder it, then I feel like I gotta really work hard. If I don't
crush this right now, everybody's gonna leave.
And I think a lot of the time I didn't, but I tried a lot harder to get there. I think because you guys brought me, elevated me to a point.
It's important to have people around you that'll challenge you.
And the other part was I'd be out there and I knew your song. I'd be singing and dancing before I went on the stage.
That was fun about last night. As I'm sitting there with that table of people, and I've been hitting your Spotify like hard. I'm listening to all your tracks. I'm singing along your harmonies.
I saw you the Childers too.
Not even just the Childers one, like your originals as well.
Thank you. Yeah, that was.
I was walking back up when you guys were playing that one.
The Childers one, because you guys do.
We played a couple. Right?
Nose to the Grindstone and White House Road or something.
Yeah.
You did Lady May, which fits your voice very nicely. And White House Road, is that the one?
Nose to the Grindstone.
Nose to the Grindstone.
And then Follow You to Virgies is probably my favorite one.
I'm gonna make you play that for me at some point before you leave.
You play that one now? Oh, I love
Virgie, yeah.
Well, I was talking to you about it last night. Like the song is great,
it's an amazing song.
But then he has this one video where he tells the story of what it's about, and it adds so much weight to it. Like it totally changed the way I think about my music.
Their music teacher or something?
No, it was about his friends. The whole reason he's going to Virginia because his buddy's mom or grandma, I want to say grandma died, and she used to like.
She used to watch him play.
Yeah, when they were in high school, that was like, which is I Follow You to Virgie is like. So the whole premise of the song is, she died, but when they were in high school, they would all they did was play music, and she would be in the background, being like, "Oh, you guys are so good,"
singing along all our favorite songs,
right? And so he's like, "Yeah, I'll go wherever I need to be there for you after she passes," because she meant like a bunch to him. But then it's special to me because we did that same thing. We were all we did was play music in high school. We'd get together and just jam, and it's very nostalgic. That's like part of the reason But the thing I was talking with Donnie about is like, adding context sometimes to things, because it's not something I really thought about before, but like now when I listen to a song, I enjoy it even more than I did, which I enjoyed it to begin with. Totally. But so I started thinking more along those lines with my music, and like, how can I give my songs just a little more context,
more meaning and context?
Yeah, I mean,
totally.
You ascribe whatever meaning you want to a song, but honestly, that's almost like.
Are you saying like, are you trying to like root these all in reality and like personal experience, or like?
No, I think just having a little bit. It doesn't have to be like the song means.
And then does it have to be like
mean something as heartfelt as that song?
But like something like actually real, or can it be something that you're like imagining? So like.
Yeah, I think it can be whatever you want it to, but it's it's just like, oh, that's kind of what he was saying. I kind of get that, or like it doesn't have to be like something. Real, you could like my song about Evelyn, my Evelyn song. That's a song about one time I woke up. I remember telling you about this when it happened, because you lived with me at the time. But so I was asleep. I was kind of halfway between the dream state and awake, and I like opened my eyes. I look over and I saw the form of like a woman, and it
was Donnie.
It was me.
That was pretty good.
We really liked living with each other.
But at the foot of my bed, and then like I'm like, what is that? And I slowly turn the light on, and it just disappears. So part of me deep down knows that I was sleeping. It's probably a partial dream, but the whole idea of the song is, well, what if it wasn't? And then like this person is just like hanging around, having to listen to me sing all the time,
crashing on your couch.
One of the lines in the song, which I kind of love, because I'm not the most gifted singer, but is I sing slightly out of key. She has to listen to me sing slightly out of key.
Oh, I know that line.
A little out of key.
Right. And so the premise is she's just hanging out. She's forced to listen to me. And then who's really haunting who? Like, am I haunting the
that's
ghost?
Awesome, dude.
That's cool. I like that.
Dude, that's awesome.
But giving that little bit of context of that song.
That's awesome.
Is like it'll make it mean something a little bit more. So even when I play it now, is like I usually try to give a little preamble to it. It's like, I used to live in a house. We used to think it was haunted. We gave the name, the ghost, the name Evelyn. This is Evelyn. So I give it just a little bit of context in hopes that, it might just mean a little bit more.
That's cool. It does.
Yeah.
I like
the part about the haunting and
that's cool, man.
Makes it a little cooler, which maybe I should work that into the story, because
that's an epic line. Yeah,
I already like it.
But I feel like, so I've gotten compliments on that song from people that don't really know what it's about. So giving it just a little more context hopefully would make somebody just like a little bit more like, oh, that is cool. Like the reaction you just had.
It was like,
that's what I'm going for. But that so Tyler Childers song is where he's talking, the Follow Me to Virgie, where he gives it the context, is the whole reason that I say anything anymore, is because it's like giving the song the context. I feel like can definitely amplify the signal, maybe.
Yeah. I have some songs I don't want to give context for. I'll tell you that.
It's not a requirement.
Not just because it's personal, but there's other ones that are just downright silly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We all have those songs. I mean,
just fun, goofy songs.
I have a song called I'm
not prepared to make a statement at this point.
I have a song called I'm So that I think is a little cheesy, and lyrics maybe aren't my best, but
it's a fun song though.
Yeah, and it's like, it is what it is. I wrote it in high school. Like,
it's kind of like an early life.
Yeah,
for us.
I like that song.
Right.
Yeah,
but it's the same. It's just there's not really.
What was the other? Craftsman. That's another one you guys don't like.
I don't like it because like that one's like talking about like context and backstory to it. Like I just I wrote it because I had to get a feeling out, and like it's a feeling I want to stay out in a way.
I thought the mix of that was always at least interesting. I mean, it was definitely not your vibe mostly. I mean, early life wasn't really either. You had that more slamming electric guitar that Jeff laid down.
Again, Jeff just like one take, like he's like, right. We were like, do you want to put something on this? Like, I'll try. And then like the
walk up.
Oh man,
sweeping
first
walk.
take.
Yeah.
Same thing with Long Way. He like just kind of jumped in. Oh man,
it didn't take him long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's just that good. Yeah. Jeff's so good at guitar that he's like bored of playing it. Like it's not that interesting to him. That's why he likes the whole production part. I think a lot of the time is because there's so many aspects to it. You can get lost in the drums just as easy.
I would love like
that's why I love it
access to and like just a playlist run of like every because he just like goes on and just like will lay down something. Like I'm sure he's got like hundreds at this point.
Yeah,
and just like being able to just access it, go down and listen.
Well, and he has his own music that like I've heard not a ton, but when I do, it's all instrumental mostly. But it's really cool and good. But it's like I don't even know where to find a lot of it, you know. Yeah. But I mean, I would even just enjoy that to kind of hear his the picture he paints with his music, because it's very, you know, he listens to the heavier stuff, and I get a little not as into like the screaming like type part of the singing, kind of turns me off a little bit, but the instrumentals are always so complicated and so interesting that like I do like that part of it. But I don't tend to listen to that. So, and he's actually exposed me to a ton of like really interesting music that I would have
He also listens to a lot more than that.
Oh,
too,
yeah, I know.
You know, and like I gotta go back through our texts, because while we were working on Fingerprints, he would send me a couple of bands to listen to here and there. A couple of them were really good, and I did at the time, but I can't remember what they're called.
Devin Townsend is the guy he showed me that like he's this metal guy that does these like rock opera albums kind of. They have some of them have like it seems like over 100 tracks on them. There's like full choir, there's like full orchestra. Then he's like got these like crazy like hard riffs that he's playing, and then he will yell sometimes, but his singing voice, it's very like you know, like Vermilion Players, like theater type, musical type singing voice. But it's like, I don't know, there's something about
for for a rock opera that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's very animated when he sings. There's this video of him that's hilarious. He does this, and I mean, it's like heavy metal. I mean, the drums are like nuts on all this, and his strumming is like, you know, has that kind of crazy ripping rhythm. It's more about the rhythm. Yeah. But like his animation when he plays is so interesting. And there's this one part that I love in this video where he's like playing this song. He's like, it's a solo that comes to, and you can tell he like makes a big show. It's his second take of the song because he messed up the solo the first time, which I think is always a little endearing, but also he's like totally ripping on himself because it's such an easy solo. He's like, yeah, I got it this time. It's like he's like playing it and then pointing at his guitar. But I don't know. It's very like, it's definitely not a band or guy I probably would have ever found without Jeff, and I really enjoy listening to him.
That's cool.
But Jeff is his taste. I've talked to him about Lady Gaga before.
I mean, there's so much music out there too. So
there's a lot you get from your friends too. Like there's plenty of like the Lotus thing I was talking about. I got that from Ross. Nothing from you. You kind of I remember you showing me like Julia Nunez.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. We still cover some of her songs.
Regrets.
Regrets, Into the Sunshine, and August by her.
I'm not as familiar with the other one.
Into the Sunshine. Love that
Good
one.
stuff. We used to have a song called Sunshine, remember? Where Are Tyler's Shoes?
We played it on the last
podcast. I put it at the intro. If you want to hear that, you'll have to go back and listen.
You gotta go back
to the audio only version.
Click the link.
there's not
gonna be a link there.
Link is in the bio.
But anyway, so I'm really happy you guys made it. I had a really good time last night.
Yeah,
I was always, with the shorter set, I was a little worried that, it's my favorite show of the summer, so I really wanted to sound good. So, sometimes it take a little bit more to get going. So I was like hoping that it wouldn't be bad on my part, but it ended up, and it was. I didn't do a terrible job, and so
great job.
So it wasn't what I would call a bad show. So I had a great time, and then I also got to hear two of my favorite singers and songwriters.
Andrea Bocelli?
Yeah, he showed up. She was there.
Nice.
Anyway, and it just turned out to be such a it's so nostalgic, because anytime I hear you guys, it brings me back to a very specific point in time in my life where we were playing shows together all the time, but then also just we played some songs together
about 12 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time.
I don't know, it's been a while.
I don't think 12, but
I've lived in Colorado 9 now, so yeah, Jesus. A little bit less than that.
But and then having you guys come on stage and sing with me was, it's nothing we practiced, of course, but it still was a blast.
Cause C&J.
Yeah,
I wish I could have heard him play a song, man.
He does it really late. I
know.
I try to get him up there when I can. I've also been trying to push him to do some recording.
Does Mike play anymore?
I mean, he has one of my guitars. I don't know if he uses it, but I gave it to him to play. I think he plays a little bit. I don't think he does anything too wild. But it was, that's like Jay and Mike and you guys.
But still, yeah, there's the nostalgia thing, right?
Yeah, it's like
we all
There's
used
just
to
so
play.
many nights going back over to the Unemployed Architect's house and like just playing, passing the guitar around. Like, oh, I know one riff, and it's my turn now, so I'm gonna do this riff for and then but then to see because Rainbow was one of those guys that started just doing that, and then if you come back 2 months later and he and just
he got a lot better.
And again, what I'm saying is you create an environment for people to develop their music.
Well, I think
always have. Man.
I think part of that is I know that when I started, I was terrible. So if I can do it, pretty much anybody can. I think that's
I wasn't gonna say it.
It is a universal language.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just
unless you're
even Kendrick would start playing and stuff.
Kendrick's been on the pod a couple times.
Really.
We jammed a few times. I don't know that I really inspired him, but
well, you whether or not you're inspiration, you create an environment what do you call it? Hibernation chamber, incubator.
we're Tyler's eggs.
The seeds.
No,
he's gonna water us.
I plant the seed, but you guys deliver on every other part of it. It's nothing. I mean,
I just want you to know it's no small thing.
Well,
fuck you.
You're welcome, Tyler.
But anytime I have the chance to hang out and play music with you guys is always just my favorite thing, and I'm really happy that it all worked out, and I'm really. Please, you guys sounded so good. It seems like, you didn't skip a beat. And it was just, that venue is cool too.
Wish I had the recording of it. I messed that up.
Classic, though. I mean, it's always something dumb.
I know
like
some
that.
people have some videos, so I'm going to try to find some.
Yeah, I think there's one I'm going to try to get the raw. I showed you of all of us on stage.
Definitely get the raw, because
it was very blurry
it was crunchy
and very distorted. If I can get the raw one, I'll definitely put that online so people can see us. We thought, we did the Mumford & Sons Lion Man song, because I'd sang that song with Jay a million times, and then I know that you guys know the song. We've probably played it before.
I know you guys.
What's funny about that recording that you just showed us, and I'm the only one not in front of a microphone, and we can hear my voice over.
Yeah. But that's what I said right before. It's like, Donnie doesn't even need a mic.
Yeah. Well, I was winging it too, and I wanted to sing the lower part.
I heard some cool stuff you did.
I was doing some lower stuff, but you did trying to.
You did some cool walk up, walk down kind of things where it was like you changed your note, but not at the time I would have expected. It was more of almost like a lead part.
It was probably me actually just screwing up and then trying to make up for it.
Well, it was like there's one moment in it where I hit a little run of notes, and then right after you do the same run, and it sounded pretty cool.
Oh, that's
cool. But it was it was a little different, and I could tell it was you. I mean, even on that terrible recording, it was the O's part.
It was some low O's, but
anyway,
it was fun.
It was a blast,
really
and I'm really glad that we made it happen, and really appreciate you guys. Where can people check out your music? I know it's not easy to find, so tell them very specifically.
SoundCloud.
A year and a half from now, you can show up at one of Tyler's shows.
And there'll be no promotion that they'll be there.
Yeah. We won't even let you know. So just kind of.
You have to come to every one of my shows.
Just in a year and a half or so, just start following Tyler.
Just for the chance that you could see that you have to become fans of me, just in case you could potentially see the Heroic Charade.
But SoundCloud, Heroic Charade, SoundCloud, Rastafarian Bot. I have an account on there too with some recordings of Donnie and I as well, and our buddy Justin too. You should totally check out.
I need to check. Is that Nashville song somewhere on there?
I have I have a couple recordings on there. I think I have Colorado Gold, Nashville's Burning, and maybe one more.
I need to go back and listen, because I remember just like I was saying.
I was trying to get him recorded for a while, and he was starting to practice with a metronome and stuff, because I wanted to get him into some kind of studio situation. Right. And get those originals recorded, they're so good.
He doesn't even need it though.
I know. I think that was what we figured out. We're just gonna set up a mic and just do a live.
Yeah, I mean, or just record just one take of acoustic and then one vocal take. Because I mean, it's a good enough song.
I wanted to simplify it a lot more, because we were trying to do too much. Plus, that's the way it sounds great already.
Well, I just did this.
You don't need to do a bunch of stuff on it.
I just had Ryan Wolf stay with me for a while, and he he came and recorded an album while I was here, and his whole theory was he just wanted it to sound like he was in the living room, kind of like. And
for sure,
it literally was like he'd write a song and then he'd come out and play for us, and we would listen to him, and some of these songs were like great, and then so after talking a little bit, he was like, I'm just gonna do just that, and some of his best songs, I think, honestly. Cool. The thing about it is, like, it's very true to what he sounds like. Like, I don't know, in the studio you can get carried away with stuff, you can use effects, absolutely. You can add a million layers, you can do
it's what I love to do.
Yeah, it's fun. But does it need it sometimes? I mean, I think sometimes you can get away, less is more sometimes.
Oh,
and
yeah, absolutely.
I think with that guy, a whole album of songs like that would be awesome.
Totally.
But all you need is an iPad, that's what I always say. So,
Donnie, do you have anything posted anywhere else? You don't have like a personal...
Oh, I mean, I have my like the piano songs that I write are on Sartoris on SoundCloud.
He's got a SoundCloud too, guys.
Check it out. I'll post some links in the comments so you can, or in the description, you can follow all.
He'll add them to his bio.
Yeah, my bio. You'll click on
you can find
the Unemployed Architects,
right,
and it'll go to the Heroic Charade music, because that's good marketing. Anyway, I appreciate you guys coming on. Yeah. Always awesome to talk to you.
Pleasure.
Always awesome to play music. We're gonna definitely do a little bit of that, I think.
Absolutely.
And yeah, thanks. Anyway, anybody who took the time to listen, I appreciate you. That's Donnie. That's Ross.
My Venmo is...
Charade. All right. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Adios.
Yeah. I went that whole time without talking about Lord of the Rings, guys. There was a couple of times I wanted to bring it up.
He wasn't...